whenever you want to. All right, anyway, so this morning, I was actually driving to school with my kids, driving them to school, and I heard the news on CNBC that Spotify is downsizing again. This is the third time they've done this, okay? To cut back their workforce, meaning firing employees who work at the company. Anyway, that represents 17% or 1,500 people lost their job this morning at Spotify. Now, quick show of hands, just quick show of hands. You don't have to say anything about the product or about Spotify. Do you stream using Spotify? Just quick show of hands. Okay. All right. Anyway, before I get back to this, look at this. Did you know that? We'll talk about the stock in a second. I gotta get this out of the way. The biggest artist on Spotify is Taylor Swift. She made $100 million in 2023. People downloading or not downloading, streaming her music. That's so ancient, right? Streaming her music. She gets paid royalty. So anytime someone listens to a Taylor Swift song, she gets, I don't know, a few cents or whatever, maybe even more, depending on how much she commands on Spotify, how much Spotify pays her particularly. I think every artist might be a little different based on contracts, etc. Anyway, $100 million. Now, how do you think the stock reacted to the news?
Oh, stop.
Wait. So that was the question of the day, right? How do you think the stock reacted this morning? Do you think the stock went up on the news that people were fired? Or did the stock go down? Mars.
In my opinion, if they're firing employees, probably Spotify doesn't have a union, so if they're firing employees, stock might have went down because those employees help manage Spotify. I understand that the company's trying to make more. I understand that the boss is trying to make more money for himself because he has to pay other people. He has to pay the people that he put on Spotify himself. I understand, but to fire people's jobs, the stock had to go down.
You think the stock had to go down? Okay, who disagrees? Who thinks the stock went up? No one. Not a single person. Wow, you do, Jenny? No? Okay. Well, you'd be surprised.
It went up?
The stock went way up.
What?
Okay, well, not way up. It is up 8% this morning. Okay, take a look. $14 and change to $195.38. Let's look at the chart of Spotify. What has it done year to date? So year to date, this is how the stock has gone up and down yearly. Oh, okay, thank you for putting the lights down. So it went up. It went up, surprisingly, for some of you, right? Because you think, oh, that's negative news. Bad news, doesn't it mean the stock's gonna go down? No. Okay, let me explain why stocks rise usually when the CEO, upper management, whoever is involved in the decision decides to fire people. Now, remember, this is 3 weeks before Christmas that these people lost their jobs, right?
Oh, sorry.
So it's pretty disheartening. So let's see. Why does this happen? Why do stocks rise when companies cut back their workforce? And it's all about something called efficiency. So becoming more efficient as a company. Now, let's look at the real pyramid here. Okay, who's at the very bottom of a corporation?
Hardworking employees.
Okay, then come their team leaders and their supervisors. Then something known as middle management. These people, these individuals are trying to get to the top. Okay, these are the ones hustling to get to the top. These ones are just following orders, carrying their day-to-day job, just trying to...
Rat race.
Rat race, exactly. Thank you. Now, why does this happen? Why does the stock go up?
I think the stock goes up because there's lesser employees to pay, and the stock goes up because there's more listeners every day.
The first part is correct. Okay, we will talk about listeners in a second. But you were right. When you cut back employees, when a company does that, they reduce costs. Because remember, every employee represents potentially benefits that the company has to pay for them and their salary, right? Salary is a huge part of an expense for a company. So when you cut back 1,500 employees, that's 1,500 salaries the company doesn't have to pay. So then the people who own the stock, and this is why the stock went up. Investors, look at the question, who is benefiting from the stock?
Investors.
Investors, number one, investors, because they realize, okay, the company is gonna reduce their personnel costs. That's cost for all of their employees. What is that gonna do? That's gonna improve margins. Now let's talk about margins here. How does Spotify, a streamer, make money? How do they make money? Someone explain it to me. Some of you use Spotify. How are they making their money? Okay? I see one hand raised, but I'd like to have another voice.
Please.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Chris.
So they make more money like whenever people listen to their songs.
That's the artist, but how does the company make money? Yeah, continue again.
The artists pay them to promote their music.
Not necessarily. I don't think so. Think about all the streaming apps that you might have over. Mars, relax. Okay, go ahead, Mars.
Okay.
Let's see if
the company makes money by you downloading the app or going on Spotify Premium and paying to get no ads and no botherments while you're listening to your music.
Correct, yeah. Subscriptions, guys. Subscriptions, right? When you subscribe to their service, you're paying for the service to listen to streaming any time of the day, whatever, so long as you pay that monthly subscription. So, by reducing employee costs, they're going to improve their margins. So now, what that means is, for every new subscriber or for every old subscriber, let's say they're making $5. I'm just making this number up. $5 per sub. When they reduce 1,500 salaries, that might jump up to a little bit more. Now they're making $5.50 per sub, or even $6 per subscriber,
It's
right?
$10.
Whatever it may be. So they work out the math. They have accountants that work out the math. And if we cut back this much, what does that represent in terms of margins? It represents a 1 to 2% boost in margins. Okay? So that'll help the company overall, the entire company. And it also eliminates redundancies. That means, like, let's say they have 2 employees working on the same thing. Well, you cut one back, you make the other one work harder, you make the other one do more, and you cut that employee, they're gone. So now you're only paying one salary, but they're not doing each other's jobs. There's one person doing a set job and nobody else backing them up or whatever, right? So you cut back on all the redundancies that are happening at the company. Now, ultimately, what does all this do? It boosts the company's profitability, financials. You're right, Mars. So this is why the stock goes up, because investors realize, holy smokes, by cutting back all these employees, that company is gonna do better in their next quarter report. Every 3 months they have to report to the investors and to the market how they're doing, right? Their quarterly earnings. And so this is going to improve the results for the future. So you buy the stock today. When the company shares the news, it's now open to the public to make a decision. Do I buy here? Do I enter into this position in spot? Do I buy the stock? Or do I sell it on the news if I've had a pretty good run and it's gone up and I don't think the stock is going to perform as well as it should in the future by cutting back? That's a good trick, right? It's a good little trick, but can the trick last forever? Question marks.
When investors do it, Spotify, because if you invest, say if you invest 2010, right now, wouldn't you get like over like at least $1 million? Because investors, like right now, because investors will invest because right now the stocks are high, but once it gets low, there's going to be no investors, if I'm being honest.
Wow. Well, the stock has had a good run. If we look at the chart, it's gone up pretty high. So the name of the game in making money with stocks is always buy when it's low, right? Buy when the stock is low, when nobody wants it, when it's underappreciated in the market, when people don't think the stock's going to do well, whatever the reason. But you have a thesis, you have an idea that, hey, this stock's going to turn around someday because I believe the company has X, Y, and Z working in their favor, and it's not panning out right now, but it will. So you're the smart one who's buying it when people are selling it, because you think overall it's going to perform better in the future, and that's when you buy. Now let's continue back to this discussion. So Who's benefiting from this move? Investors, CEO and upper management, because they're gonna get praise. Hey, good job, you made the stock go up some more, Mr. CEO. The investors are gonna get the investors are gonna write nice letters to the CEO and say, thank you for helping me by boosting the stock price. I made a bunch of money. Okay, and the company overall is gonna continue to stay in business because we don't want the company to go bankrupt, right? So maybe by cutting back these employees, they improve their efficiency, they reduce their costs, the company is more profitable, the company stays in business. But, who doesn't benefit? The employees who got fired. It's 3 weeks before Christmas. How do you think they're feeling this morning, right?
Pissed off.
Imagine you worked at Spotify, you were one of those low tech employees, and you just got your letter of, termination. Also, now let's say you didn't get fired. You're the one that survived the firing. This is the third layoff and you survived all of them. Okay, guess what? You're gonna have a whole lot more work to do, right? Because those 1,500 employees represented a whole bunch of work. Now your roles, I'm gonna need you to do, the manager's gonna come to you, is gonna say, I'm gonna need you to do more of this and that. And you're like, oh great, but I was already working hard, right? Now, in your notebook, time to do some stuff here, not just me talking. I want you to write a paragraph. How do you feel about this downsizing of a workforce by a company to improve their profitability? Is it a good business move to do that? Number one. Number two, also, if you were looking to buy Spotify stock, you're an investor, later when you can invest at 18 and over, you're on your Robinhood account or whatever app, and on this news that you just heard, does that motivate you to buy the stock at this point, right now, today, or does it not? Because you're thinking ethically, oh man, that's got to be a sad, do I buy it? I mean, I'm basically rewarding the move for people getting fired. Do I buy it, or, I don't know. This is how the questions you have to ask yourselves in the future when you invest, okay? It's not just about money, although it is.
Money is money.
Why don't you ask me what I would do? Someone asked me, what would you do? Would you buy the stock, HomieG? Go ahead, Mars.
Would you buy the stock, or would you wait until it goes down?
At this point, I've seen it go up. Do I still think it has some room to run? Yes. I still think it's going to go up a little bit more based on this decision. I still think their next quarter is going to be better, and the company's going to be better. Would I buy the stock? No, not at this point. I think it's gone up quite a bit, and this is just trickery at this point. I would not, because it's had already a very good run after those three times they've downsized. So I would wait, or I would get into another stock. Honestly, it's not because of the people getting fired, although I am saddened by that. It is upsetting that so many people lost their jobs, but I just not very interested right now in Spotify. I'd probably wait. Market is overbought at this point. Not just Spotify, but a lot of stocks. So the timing, it wouldn't be right for me. That's what I would do. Anyways, go ahead and start your paragraph. We got to move on.